tonight we put the comedy aside and we check the mental. Uh, make sure everything up here is good. So let's drop the intro and let's get to it.
You feel that now? I feel like Rocky in this one, baby. Let's go. Alright, check it. Blast from the past, back from the future. So if I pull the trigger in the past, know you and your future. I'm still hustling, still hugging the block. The referee to the shit, I'm still calling them shots. I can't be stopped, that's what I told you. I'm living my life like a box of Crayolas. I'm cutting up white, smoking that green. Purple color pens, I'm still making this cream. I'm so sick, check my throat quick. My wrist light up a room like a handful of glow sticks. I'm like spoiled milk, the kids gone bad. Then it's the menace, my pen touches the pad. Niggas is mad, but the ladies is glad. Yo, they rubbing up against me like this nigga is rad. Fucking two divas, drinking on sangria. I got the beam of the colors, diarrhea. Tire strength in my feet cause I'm so fly. Hopped out the DeLorean, it's Artie McFly.
Welcome to the show. As promised, season 11 is something completely different than any other season. First is just me. So, hey. And second, no co-host. And third, it's all about comedy and it's all about you guys getting to know me more as a person. And we're just here to have a good time always. Sometimes we gotta check the mental. Make sure you're doing good upstairs. I apologize if you hear my cat in the background because I'm currently recording from my basement of my house, and my cat and I share the basement. We're cohabitats here in this space. Um, Pretty soon, in a couple months, this will be a closed off recording studio. Hopefully, if plans go as well. Um, but today, I wanted to reflect. A lot of things going on in the news with as far as Kim, Kanye, and the war and everything, and coronavirus, all that stuff takes a toll on you mentally. And the last 2 years has been crazy for me personally. I've had a ton of highs, very few lows. Um, and I've learned some mechanisms, some tools. By the way, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a trained professional. These are just things that work for me personally. Um, so I was gonna be locked up for an amount of time. Like we didn't know when this COVID thing was gonna be over. So when it started, some of the things I started to look at was A, how can I continue my podcast, and B, how can I make sure that mentally I don't go into a rut? Um, and I'll be honest with you, I had a great person to be locked up with. I'm be very honest with you. Um, my wife is a very fun person. She honey, let's watch this movie, let's do this, let's do that. She's like, yeah, sure, let's do it, let's go for it. She doesn't really have many hesitations at all. So that was a plus for me. Um, so I kept reminding myself to check myself, give myself some time to myself during COVID. So these are things I've been doing for the last 2 years. Um, in the morning when I wake up, I ask myself, "How are you feeling?" Right? Um, Honestly, it sounds very simple, and it's to you. Some of you people, it might sound stupid, but With the way my life is set up right now, I have a very long commute. So I want to optimize and utilize that time as efficient as possible. So I use it to do homework because I'm in school currently and working full time. And I also use it for my mental. I'm not able to sleep on a train. There's too much stuff going on in this world for you to just like fall asleep. So what I use the time to write, reflect, evaluate, and see how things are going. I remind myself that my situation is always great. Um, I'm happy. I'm very happy. But it's because I know what happiness is. Happiness is something that you have to do for yourself. It's something you have to look for, do to keep your mental in a good space. Honestly, so for the last 2 years, like I said, it's been a lot of highs for me. The podcast has been going great. The birth of my son, the birth of my daughter. We bought a house. Work's been good. Um, I was able to spend a lot of time with my son, but some of the things new dads don't talk about is sometimes you doubt yourself. Um, so how I'm feeling, that's where the how I'm feeling comes first. It's like a self reflection period I try to do every morning and see where I'm at. And how and I'm honest with myself. How am I feeling? And if there's something that is an issue or is bothering me, I try to come up with solutions to better that or improve that situation. Um, so that's my first thing that I do. And though this might not be one of those fun jumping episodes, I feel like this one's important because it lets if you're going through something, you're not alone. So when I became a dad, um, that's not that's not it. Okay, yeah, the doubts. It's hard to produce and do a show on your own. So when I became a father for the first time, you could read all the books you want, but it's something that has to come from you naturally. I feel like what your personality is eventually determines the type of father, the type of parental unit you're going to be. Um, with my son, I just want to have fun with my son. Um, yes, there are times as a parent where you want a break or you want to take a breather or regardless of that every like when I think of my son I just think of like he's my friend now. Like that's I spend the most time with him and I just want to enjoy every second of it, like him being at this age because he's growing up pretty quickly. But you do get some doubts. Am I being good? Am I doing the right thing? Um, is my son developing? And my wife is the one that always steers the ship in that aspect. But as a man, you do get doubts. And I speak to my partner about that. Like, uh, you think I'm a good dad, or we have those conversations. So I feel like if you feel that way, you gotta sometimes let it out and speak to someone. So, but doubts is something that everybody has, and I think the less doubts that you have, the happier you are. Um, so that's one. Those are two things. I always ask myself how I'm feeling, and I try not to have too many doubts in the things I'm doing and the decisions I'm making. Because at the end of the day, you made a decision, you got to live with it. I rather live with those decisions than not take any action or not do anything. Because at the end of the day, I will have regrets. So that's just me. That's where I'm coming from. So I always check how I'm feeling. Um, I'm honest with myself, and I try to um, stay like positive and not have doubts in my mind. I mean, all this stuff, like, it sounds like really cliche and all that, but this is how I keep myself level headed. I try to enjoy every minute of the day. I try to find humor in whatever it is that I'm doing. Um, because life is hard itself. So I just wanted to do something a little different this time. I wanted to mellow out the show and really talk about me and stuff that's in my head and things that I think about. Um, my daughter is a month old. I'm with my son. I didn't know the first time that they grow up so fast. So with my daughter, I'm trying to enjoy what I can, because I've returned back to work, and it's that's why when COVID happened, and I was working from home. One of the advantages was I was able to spend so much time with my kid. I was able to bond and spend time with him. But now with my daughter, I have to return back to work, and there is no work from home. So uh, just I have to try and carve out that time in my day where it's dedicated to her. Um, so that's just basically it. Currently, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling fantastic. My mindset is laser focused on these next 3 years as far as what I want to accomplish. I have some big goals, and I got a big year ahead of me. And this year, you're going to see me produce and put on some stuff uh, that I'm going to work just as hard. Last year, I podcasted the entire year. I only took 2 weeks off, like as a break or something. And I did that purposely. I was gonna put my time in this. I was gonna push the envelope. I was gonna put out as much content as possible and flood the podcast realm. But this time, this season and this year, I got more of a purpose and a singular vision. This season is gonna be about comedy, but I decided to also, like I said previously, talk about myself and talk about things that I go through. So I have a 3 year plan set, and in this plan, I plan on to continue to grow as a creative, as a producer, as a writer, even as a comedian. Um, I'm dabbling with character development and writing sketches and bits and things like that. And I'm not doing this to follow any trend or doing. I enjoy those things. So if you don't find them funny, I do, and I enjoy doing it. So I'm still gonna put it out. The Ricky Smooth character is just one of the 5 or 6 characters I've already written, and I'm gonna start producing little things for. And the Ricky Smooth character will now be on the Rick A show. He'll have a segment on the show. So if you didn't see the previous 2 episodes, he does have a segment now, and it's called Love Notes on the show. So I think that'll be fun and something that the audience would like to watch and see. I'm also open to doing a lot more interviews. Last year I did some interviews. I went on some podcasts. But some I got asked to do a couple shows, and I didn't really follow through because I was more focused on creating content than somebody having me on their podcast and me just talking about being a podcaster and stuff like that. Like, I don't think people want to hear me per se talk about podcasting. Um, so when I do a show, I try to do it with someone I know and try to have a good time and try to make people laugh at the same time. Um, so this year I'm gonna do a lot more guest appearances on different things. maybe some acting, maybe some stand up comedy as well. So uh, I'm gonna explore. I'm gonna explore my creative side as much as possible this year. I have a singular focus and a singular goal for the show. If you hear some noises again, I apologize again. I'm in the basement of my house, which is the current location where I record all my shows from and all my interviews and all that stuff. Um, so my singular purpose is to transition into this career and enjoy my time on this planet and provide for my family and enjoy my family as much as possible. Um, and I think that these moments that I take where I do self reflection and I ask myself how I'm feeling, how I'm doing, they help me tremendously, specifically because I know myself very well, and I don't want to lie to myself. I lied to myself a lot when I was younger. You know, that's the worst thing you could do is lie to yourself. I know myself. I know my limits. I know um, when I'm not feeling good. I know what to do to cheer myself up. I know if it's not me, I know I could call and or I could speak to my wife or you know. But I don't get in that space. Very rarely have I gotten in that space in the last couple of years, and I think is to due to the fact that I'm very aware of making sure that I'm happy and keeping myself happy and trying to be the best person I can every day, not just for me, but for the people that that I'm responsible for. My two kids, and for my life. So, um, yeah, that's where I've been at. The reason why I called this the morning after is because um, I'm a big Linkin Park fan, and they have a record about the morning after. So Chester Bennington dealt with a lot of issues and depression and whatnot, and I feel like again I'm not a licensed professional, but if you have a great foundation and a great surrounding and you know yourself and you're honest with yourself, you can help yourself push through those moments. And I think it's important for uh, people like myself to talk about these issues and to get ahead of them. And like some tips and tricks. Somebody could be listening to this episode and be like, "Oh man, I should try that thing. I should try that in the morning." Ground myself, ask myself how I'm doing, evaluate myself professionally and personally, and then talk to my like not like have hey Rick, how you been, blah, blah, but in my head have a conversation with myself. I hate this about what I'm doing. How can I make this more enjoyable? Or why do I have to do this? Or what? Like those are conversations that I have with me. Like, and I figure them out in my head, and then I usually I ask for advice, and there's certain people I call and have a conversation with, and you know, so it's not something like I like to hear different perspectives as well in the situation. But like for example, if I'm mad at work and I have an issue at work, and in my mind I'm like, oh, the issue is this, and I have a conversation about what the problem is with someone else, that person's going to shed some light that I'm not looking at, or it's going to give me a different perspective. So that's why I also like to do that as well. So besides reflecting on things yourself, try to uh, first of all try to develop a circle and some a friendship with someone that is going to always give you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear, you know? And someone that's going to be 100% honest with you. Because you don't need yes people. You need people that is going to keep it 100% with you. That's going to keep it real funky with you. And it's going to tell you, listen, I don't think this is it. This is how I view it, or this is how I see it. And if you don't agree with that person, then that's their perspective, at least uh, you know that you found someone when you respect that point of view and you're like, yo, you're right. I respect what you're saying and I agree with you and I see why you say that. Because that light bulb goes off. Like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that before. So, anyways, these little mini-sodes in between episodes, they're going to be like 15, 20 minutes long. So, I don't want to keep you all, bore you with a lot of heavy things, But ask yourself how you're feeling in the morning. Have a conversation with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Take a minute, ground yourself before you head into work or whatever it is you're going to do in the morning. Get rid of self-doubt. Try to find the humor in everything, because there's always humor in everything. And be happy. Next week, we'll be back with a special guest. It'll be our 145th episode, I think. Don't quote me on that. These numbers, they're getting so high right now. I don't remember which one's which. I'll tell you right now real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah, 145. It'll be number 145. We'll probably have a comedian on the show doing a lot of stand-up. I'm hosting a charity event for autism. The details, I'll announce it soon. I will be hosting a comedy stand-up night for a charity event. When the details are ready, I'll release that. And I will be doing a podcast panel at the end of the summer. So I did one last year, went very successful. It was great. And I want to do another one a little bit bigger. And I'm going to do this one on podcasting, comedy, and media. So stay tuned for those two special projects that are coming up. And as always, the Rick H Show, every Tuesday, 8 o'clock, I'm here. I'll announce Tuesday's guest on Thursday. For now, be honest with yourself. Check your mental. Take a minute. Everything in here is all about you. So always make sure that you're taken care of. All right. Find the humor in everything, because there is humor. I'll see you guys next week. Much love, much respect. Peace.
You feel that knock? I feel like Rocky in this one, baby. Let's go. Alright, check it. Blast from the past, back from the future. So if I pull the trigger in the past, it's no you and your future. I'm still hustling, still hugging the block. The referee to the shit, I'm still calling them shots. I can't be stopped, that's what I told you. I'm living my life like a box of Crayolas. I'm cutting up white, smoking that green. Purple color pens, I'm still making this cream. I'm so sick, check my throat quick. My wrist light up a room like a handful of glow sticks. I'm like spoiled milk, the kids gone bad. Then it's the menace, my pen touches the pad. Niggas is mad, but the ladies is glad. Yo, they rubbing up against me like this nigga is rad. Fucking two divas, drinking on sangria. I got the beam of the colors, diarrhea. Tire strength to my feet, cause I'm so fly. Hopped out the DeLorean, it's Artie McFly.